welcome back. I'm Dallas. Thank you for joining me again today. I'm so excited to paint today because today's lesson is about the color purple. So congratulations, we have made it from the top of the color wheel at yellow all the way down to what is very most across from it, which is purple. And I will show you here in my homemade color wheel. That's exactly what's happening here. I've got my neutral yellow on top, and right across the color wheel, its complement is purple. So we are going to sort of play around with this today. And one thing that I think you'll notice is that yellow had a pretty short value range, actually. If we were to try to pull it all the way across the paper with adding more brushfuls of water each time, we wouldn't get very far before the water would just look clear. With purple, we can take and extend purple out a pretty long ways. And so that's something that's really interesting between the top of the color wheel and the bottom of the color wheel, depending on how you look at it. Because in my CMY color wheel here, which in my color wheel over here, I had some split primary colors in there, but this is purely CMY. We are talking about some color between this violet color and this blue color as being a purple hue. And now if you look at the complement, we see yellow and we see this color called, they're calling it yellow green. So we'll just split the difference and we'll say that this yellowish color roughly complements this redder purple and this bluer purple. So with that said, we're going to have a really interesting exercise at the end of the video that'll be your homework for next time, involving the complements of yellow and purple. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take you through some split primary purples. Now, if you remember, a split primary palette is when you have a palette that has a warm red, a cool red, a warm blue, and a cool blue, and a warm yellow, and a cool yellow, and you get those varieties to mix. And then we have the theory where it's CMYK, which is printer, all the little orders that you send to your printer. It's combining all those different colors of dots to make any color that you want your printer to print. That is where I think magenta really comes in handy, because with magenta, you'll see we get some very lush purples, some very pink purples that I just don't think that you can get with your good old split primary. So what I'm considering to be a warm blue is this ultramarine color that you'll remember from the last video. Here's what that looks like. And so if this is a warm blue, I want to try it with a warm red, which I know that my vermilion here is a warm red. So I'm going to take this color, it's not quite awake yet, and add it to this color. And I think what I'll do here is I'll just literally try to do that and show you that they make, it's sort of this burgundy wine color, I would say. And I left a little edge here so we can see, and I will definitely want to mark what this recipe is. You do the same. Have your pencil or your pigment liner on you. Now those were the warm colors. So let's do some cool. Let's see, my cool was my Prussian blue. So I'm going to take that Prussian blue, get it to a half and half consistency, and I'll do the same thing here. I'm gonna, that's not enough, swatch it out right here. I'll put one brush full of water in it here to just show you. And then the cool red that I have for you today, which I don't think I've swatched out for you yet, it's called Carmine. It's a similar color to crimson. And we will put that right here next to it. So you see how it has, it does really kind of look like magenta a little bit. So let's just see what happens when we mix the two of these together. Okay. Very similar thing happening here. I would say that this purple is a lot brighter than this, and this carmine this is not a magenta color, but it's a little closer to a magenta color. You see here we have some really nice violet that's kind of happening right there. So I'll remember that for my color recipe there. But now I think that you'll find that the cyan and the magenta make a completely different color. So let's do that right here. I just love cyan. It reminds me of, and this is the funny part about colors, because in the Crayola crayons, to me, this color is the cerulean color in the Crayola box of crayons. And so that just goes to show you, some people perceive different colors to be different mixtures, and that's why there are different pigment recipes from brand of paint to brand of paint. It's very odd. Okay, going into that magenta, adding it right here, and yeah, this is definitely looking pinker, and it's just really gonna pop with that, I think. So let's see. Yeah, you can already see that this is just going nuts. And I mean, this to me says 21st century. We've got printer colors, everything is very vibrant, it's very inky, it has a graphic look to it. And comparative to this, even after these dry a little bit, they look a little more muted, they look a little bit more gray. And that's why you don't see some of these more vibrant purples in old paintings, is because magenta was synthesized in 1859 and CMYK printing magenta was invented in the 1890s. So I mentioned to you before that yellow and purple are complements on our color wheel. And so by theory, if we mix those two together, they neutralize each other, and we should get some very interesting neutral colors. And I want us to use these two colors right now to try to mix the perfect gray. That's my mission. That's what I'll be doing here. I'll be talking it out, but it may be a little bit chaotic as you are trying to figure out how to mix the perfect gray. And that's okay, because that is you hands-on learning how to use your pigments, how to get them to do what you want them to do. Remember that there is red and there is blue and purple. And so some mixture of that red and blue are going to be mingling with yellow to try to come up with the perfect gray. So let's try that. I'm going to initially try probably that pure purple that I got with the magenta and the blue. And I'm going to try to add Hansa Yellow Light as my yellow here. Why don't you watch me do this? I will talk it out as best I can. And as a note for myself, I'll say Hansa Yellow Light is going to be there. And I'll mix up a bunch of this purple right here. Is it purple enough? Let's see. Can probably add a little bit more magenta. And this is really how you learn about color, you guys. You just trial and error, make notes, and then do it again next time. So, okay, that's what we got here. That's what we're working with. That's fine. Okay. What I'm going to do is I'm going to grab another palette so that you can see me mixing these ratios here on a clean palette. And I do recommend you start with yellow because purple is very overpowering. So if we're trying to mix the perfect gray, add a tiny bit of purple. Okay, it was the tip of my brush. All right, this is looking pretty green. So this tells me there's a lot of yellow in it, and that could be considered even a brown color. So we may even need to go a little bluer with the purple. Let's try that. Now I'm just going to dunk that in here to see. Adding a little bit of blue made this beautiful shade of what I would call blue. So I'll try to add more yellow. Okay, and now I've made something that looks like a sea color, and it's a gray color, but I think it's still a little blue. So I think I could add a little more yellow. If you're going back into yellow after using purple, wash your brush out completely. And I really don't want a lot in there. I just want a little bit. See, I've made it green again, but we're finding some really pretty green colors here. I really like that. So if we are green, we still need a little more purple. We still need a little more. If green is warm, we need a little bit more blue. Okay, I'll put this is somewhere in between these two, I think. I think I'm so far closest with this gray right here. Ooh, oh. Ooh, I want something right in between these. That's my version of the perfect gray. And what's weird is that your version of the perfect gray could be this color. You could look at that and you could think, she did it, she mixed the perfect gray. Well, I'm looking at it thinking, I need to go somewhere in between these two swatches here. All I added was just a baby bit of yellow, and I don't think it's enough. Now I'm back here. So this is the fun you're gonna have. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. I think I got it. Oh, this looks really good. This looks really good right here. I think it just needs a little more water. Play with your value range. Pull out a little more of the lighter values by adding a brush full of water. I think I made the perfect gray. I'm so happy right now. Okay, that to me says I am gray. I am as neutral gray. I am a cement wall. I am a sidewalk in the summer. I'm gray. Okay, so now I want you to try this, and I want you to use as many sheets of paper as you need to get the perfect gray. And then I want you to just think about, you don't have to execute on this, but think about how all of the colors that we've talked about have their own complement, and each of them can be mixed in certain ratios to make the perfect gray between those colors. So think about that, and if you want the challenge, go ahead and do that, because now you have kind of a full picture of the main colors. All right, so if you haven't guessed yet, this will be your assignment. I want you to take yellow and purple and try to mix them in certain ratios to get your version of the perfect gray. Okay, my only warning to you is do not look at what your neighbor is doing, because what we already talked about is that color is very relative. I want you to pick out your gray color in your mind and use your colors to do it. So put up a barrier between you and your neighbor. Don't look at their paper. The other thing is that I chose to use my purple that I mixed and this Hansa yellow light, whereas maybe you will choose to use your purple that you created with, say, cobalt and vermilion. Choose your purple and then choose your yellow. And in next video, we're going to be talking about the color pink. So I'll see you next time. Bye, guys. Did she say pink? I think she did, but not quite yet, unless you want to go further down the color road and get the full video course over on my Gumroad page. But if you're just working the itty bitty teeny little mini video course here on YouTube, your next video to get into will be the monochromatic still life. But if you want to keep exploring color and get into the pink video and explore how to make all these beautiful browns and nuanced grays, and what even about black? I haven't even gone into black yet. That's a whole other video. If you want to do that, go over to my Gumroad product page, and there you will see that color course as well as my beginner and intermediate course. All right, you can work on your purples and your grays from this video, and I will see you later. Bye.